Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review, this time of a documentary. I recently watched the Hulu show The Act, based on true events of Gypsy Blanchard. And I decided, and well, I kind of am obsessed with this kind of true crimes. I'm not going to say I'm obsessed. That's not true. When I watch something that is based on true events, as a dramatization of something, I want to learn the real stuff. So I do get a little obsessive. So I started watching some documentaries. This is going to be actually a two kind of part review thing, because there is a 2020 kind of story that came up recently, that I will talk about as well with this one that I watched the same night as I watched this, actually. And then we're going to also talk about this. This documentary in particular is called Mommy Dead and Dearest. Like I said, it is about the actual Gypsy Blanchard and what went down with her. I did my best not to spoil anything for The Act. I'm going to spoil this. This is a documentary. This is real life. I went in knowing everything that happened with this. And I mean, it kind of says, well, it doesn't necessarily say. Well, what does the description fully say for this? That's something I want to know. Let's see. Well, it really doesn't say nothing. But I'm going to spoil this one. Just so you know, I'm going to talk about the real life events, and I'm going to talk about my opinions, because that's what's really got me crazy with this story. So if you don't know, Gypsy Rose, who I did not know who this was up until a few weeks ago, really. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, it was a girl, or is a girl, well, is a woman now. I'm just going to speak. Gypsy Rose, this girl right here, she was raised by her mother. Her mother was constantly telling her and telling everyone that she had leukemia, that she had muscular dystrophy, all kinds of different diseases and stuff like that. She was very, very sick. Forced her into a wheelchair, put a feeding tube in her, whole bunch of stuff. None of it was true. There is nothing wrong with this girl the entire time. The mom is getting donations from people that she's taking their money. They're getting free trips to Disney World. They're getting to meet celebrities. They're doing all these things. Habitat for Humanity built them a house. All these things. She's not actually sick. And this was going on for quite a while. She also lied about Gypsy's age. When she was 15, she was born in 91, so in 2015, she was technically in her 20s, and she was lying, saying, oh, you're 18. Just a crazy story, a very crazy true story that happened. And into Gypsy's teens, she became interested in boys. We get attracted to people. That's what happens in our teenage years. It's very much a natural thing, and it's something that is not a bad thing, right? Wrong when it comes to Dee Dee Blanchard, her mother. Her mother was not happy about this, tried to pull her away. Gypsy then went online, met a guy from Wisconsin named Nick, and they had an online relationship for, I think, 2 years. And then they scheduled a meet-up during the 2015 movie Cinderella, because basically there was no other way for them to meet. Gypsy was going to the theater with her mom. She said, hey, Nick, come down here. We'll meet. And things went from there. And after that meeting did not go so well, they decided, hey, we are going to kill your mom. They planned it out. Nick ends up killing her. And then they run away. They post some really stupid messages on Facebook and basically admit that they killed mom. Gypsy ends up going to prison for 10 years. Was just let out this year. No, end of last year, something like that. She just got out. Nick is in prison for the rest of his life. This story just drove me nuts. And it's not for the murder. How do I say this? It's not the actual event that went down. It's the trial case that bugs me a little bit. Gypsy was being tortured. She talks about how she was beat with hangers, how she was chained to beds. It kind of shows that in the show a little bit. And it specifically talks about this in the documentary as well. She was being tortured. She was being fed pills her entire life to make herself look sicker and stuff like that, to the point that her teeth like rotted out because she was taking these medications that she didn't need. She's being tortured. That's torture. So the fact that Gypsy went to prison for 10 years bugs me. This girl needed help. She needed mental help, not prison. In prison, she did get therapy, but still, good grief. I just don't think it's right that this girl went to prison. I just think this is so wrong. Yes, she helped. She planned the murder of her mother. She asked someone to kill her mother. At the same time, Gypsy's mom told her that, like, if she ever got out of a wheelchair and stuff, she'd make her life a living hell. Gypsy was scared all the time. She couldn't just, it blows my mind. She was just so scared of her mom. Not only that, but when you're a child, your mom and dad are all you got. You listen to everything they tell you to do because it's what you got to do. So it blows my mind this girl was put in prison. It pisses me off. I'll be perfectly honest. It pisses me off that this girl was put in prison. This girl, again, mentally, when you are tortured for 20 years of your life, your brain's going to be a little fudged up. Not only that, but she was, her mom essentially made her into a drug addict. She was high as hell the night this happened. Really? Why is she put in prison for this? She needed a psych ward, maybe, but, like, I just don't think she should have been put in prison for this. I really don't. Again, I watched the 2020 thing, and that basically went over everything this documentary did. There's a couple other things. That's why I'm not going to do a separate review for that. There's a couple other things that we'll talk about towards the end here that it did go into that I will talk about. But, it just bugs me that this girl went into prison. I just don't think she should have been put in prison. And she talks, after she got out, she talked about how it was one of the best days of her entire life going into prison because she felt free, even though it's the exact opposite. She's in prison. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy to me that this girl went to prison. Now let's talk about Nick. Nick is someone who, what'd they say, had Asperger's and autism. Basically, his parents told him that, or basically doctors said that his brain was going to be a 15, 16-year-old's brain the entirety of his life. He clearly had mental issues. My question is this. Why isn't this more of his parents' fault? He wasn't on medication, even though it sounds like he should have been, and he was at a point in time. Why did he got arrested before for jerking off in a McDonald's? How was he allowed to go to Missouri? Went from Wisconsin to Missouri. How were his parents allowing this multiple times? This sounds like a parent problem. This sounds like parents not taking care of their child who had some issues. It bugs me a little bit. And there's a little bit of a fine line with this one, but I don't feel he should be in prison the rest of his life. I don't. And he had stated that, he would have done anything for Gypsy because he loved her. You're telling me, for all the parents out there, if your child is in a is being tortured in someone's dungeon, and you go and kill that serial killer who's torturing your child, you think you should go to prison the rest of your life? I'm just saying. It bugs me a little bit. And not only that, but if you go kill your child's torturer, and you're not even gonna have mental issues, this guy had mental issues. This guy needed help. And no one was helping him. I think this is a little bit of a fine line. And I don't think he should be in prison the rest of his life. Maybe for a period of time until we know he's safe. Again, I don't know if he actually is getting mental help in prison. I hope he is, because it sounds like that's what is needed. I don't know. This is, again, just from watching a couple documentaries here. I don't think he should be in prison the rest of his life. This just does not seem fair to me. I believe they were tried in Wisconsin, maybe in Missouri too. I forget. I believe I saw Waukesha, Wisconsin was where one of the court hearings were being held. Sorry, Wisconsin, but you suck. I just don't think that that's fair. I also know that some of this had to be done in Missouri too, because they were talking about Missouri death penalty. I don't think the death penalty is a thing in Wisconsin. So, yeah. I just don't think it's fair. Either way, I think both ways are wrong. That's really what I got from this documentary. Yes, he is a little messed up, especially since the act took out a very specific thing. Nick had said he wanted to rape Dee Dee before killing her. And basically Gypsy said, well, you can rape me afterwards, which is why afterwards they literally go into her room and he rapes her. In the show, though, it makes it look like it's just sex. But I guess it wasn't actually that, it was rape. That's a little messed up. But he was into BDSM, so... yeah, this blows my mind, not because of the murder necessarily, but because of how these two young adults were treated. And I get it, they're young adults, they should have known better, but at the same time, both of them had mental issues, both of them have gone through some things. I just don't think it's fully fair. That's all I got to say about that, as far as this documentary anyway here, this Mommy Dead, what is it called again? Mommy Dead and Dearest. So now going into the 2020 thing, which I will find as well for you guys. Basically, it did basically go over all the same things that I was just talking about with the documentary here. Some things that were a little different, though, was that we got some interviews from Gypsy out of prison. I think this was her first set of interviews after prison. And it just also went into more of her adult life now. Something that is a little weird to me about Gypsy here. First of all, she had people pen-paling her, talking to her in prison, men. One of the men is one that she fell in love with, I guess. He came into the prison and visited, I think on the third visit. He proposed, and they got married. Gypsy, I feel like you need to... I never want a divorce to happen. I don't. But at the same time, I think you need a little bit of a better screening process, because that's a little creepy. I think he's a teacher or something like that. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to find this thing so we have a nice little background here, and so you know what I'm talking about. And, so, you know, if you want to go on Hulu, you can find it. Hey, look at that. The act's the first thing that pops up. There it is. Hold on. This is a great episode, isn't it? There it is. Okay, Gypsy Rose, the next act. So yeah. where was I? Well, I don't even remember. So yeah, that's a little weird to me. I think she needs a little bit better screening process. To me, to have met a guy 3 times and to want to marry, literally get married to him, it's a little odd to me. I hope it works out though. I really do. That just right there sounds like divorce. I just don't think that's gonna work out. But I hope it does. I really do. I hope it does. I hope I'm wrong on this one. So what else can I say about this? Some people are saying that she is taking this fame and, making herself famous out of it. I see that a little bit. At the same time, she also mentions she's asked in this interview, why are you taking all these pictures on Instagram and stuff? And she goes, well, it's the same pictures that everyone else takes on Instagram. I don't understand why I'm being told that I'm trying to be famous when I'm just taking pictures of what everyone else is doing. And I will agree with her on that. She's taking stuff, it doesn't seem, again, I haven't fully looked into her Instagram page. From what it was showing on this series here, this show, I agree. She's taking normal pictures. She's taking pictures with her husband. It doesn't seem that weird to me. Something that did bug me, though, that she said. She was asked, is it fair that Nick is in prison for the rest of his life and she's out? What she says is, well, I did my time. He needs to do his time now. And it's like, his time is the rest of life, though. Your time was not even 10 years. I feel like she should, I just, poor guy, he was in love with her, and she just dropped him like a lead balloon. I put food in boxes so he can get at it and has to hunt for it. Tires him out. Where was I at? So yeah, I feel bad for Nick. That's weird to say, but I do. And kind of what her excuse was, I never could have killed my mother. He did, though. Yeah, but you planned her death. And I get it. She was torturing you, but still, I don't necessarily agree with that. So, yeah, that did bug me a little bit. I don't know. All I can say is this is just an interesting case, an interesting story. Something else that I will say about that documentary that I watched beforehand, too, I don't think it was in this one. I think it was the one beforehand. A lot of Dee Dee's family members were being interviewed, and all of them were like, fuck her. She deserved it. That goes to show you something. People didn't like her. Even, I want to say it was her brother or something that was like, she died, and someone was like, well, what do you want to do with the ashes? I'm like, who cares? Drop it down the toilet for all we care. That's bad. When you're... And it was something I was relating to a little bit, because my father is not a good person. I don't like him. He's not as bad as Dee Dee. But at the same time, when he dies, I'm going to care less. I've told people before, the day my mom calls and says, Cody, Dad died, I'm going to go, oh, okay. And I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go about my day. It's not going to bug me. I'm not going to shed a single tear for that man. He's a terrible human being. He deserves it. That was a terrible thing to say, I know. But at the same time, when people are horrible and they're just not capable of change, and I've tried making things work with my father, so I get, again, that's why this makes me so mad about Gypsy, is that she had to go to prison. No, she should not have went. That's my thoughts. I might have to edit that into a short. Anyways, guys, I'm kind of done talking about this because it's making me angry, and I'm tired. I need to go to bed. So, yeah, that is my review of the 2020 special and I cannot remember it. Mommy, Dead, something Dearest. I can't remember. Anyways, guys, that is my review of those things. Yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And we will see you soon. And as always, don't do anything I wouldn't do.